Good evening, everybody. I hope you're all well, and welcome to my channel. If you haven't been with me before, I paint and draw a lot of my own tarot cards. I've also got an extra 33 tarot cards which I've created myself. They're not in the original tarot deck for added meaning. Okay, so the question tonight is what went wrong? You know, why is it that either they've gone hot and cold on you, or you seem to be in love one minute and then they've ghosted or disappeared, or the relationship broke down really, really quickly? What is it about you that, you know, they feel doesn't fit into their life, or they're unsure about, or is there some sort of energy dynamic where they're not valuing and appreciating you, perhaps? So we're going to look at that. So obviously this can be quite triggering, but I really feel it's a question a lot of people want to know, you know, like why? And if you ask an ex-lover or someone you're interested in, you never get a straight answer, do you? Okay, so this is pile 1, pile 2 and pile 3. My spirit guides have just visited. And the top cards do not relate to the cards underneath. I don't know what the cards are underneath. I never do. Okay, so let's go to pile 1. So first of all, thank you for everyone that is subscribing. I really love that. Oh, wonderful. I really love that the numbers, oh, I do apologise. I do love that the numbers are going up, and really happy that you're enjoying the readings. And also, wow, this is a weird one. This looks like super positive. Okay, everyone that's booked a private reading, it's £25 or £15, depending if you want something more in depth. I do a lot of personal readings, and it's my great pleasure to do that for you. Now, this is looking a little bit dark, isn't it? What's going on here? I'm not really sure what's going on here. It's usually okay, so hopefully it'll be okay in the video. Okay, so let's find out what went wrong from their point of view. This is quite challenging, guys, I have to say, for pile 1, because we've got very, very positive cards. So let's have a look. So I'm just going to sort of go intuitively with this and let my spirit guides sort of guide me. Well, okay, well, look, you know, it's not bad, you know. So what I'm seeing here is that what my guides are telling me is that we've got, that's really dark. I don't understand why it's so dark. Just hold on a second. Is that better? Okay, so what my guides are telling me is that they knew or felt that you were in love with them. Okay, so we've got the Queen of Cups and we've got the Ace of Cups above. I also feel this is a little bit two-way, actually. I also feel like they started to have those emotions for you as well. So I don't feel it's just one way, but I feel like in their mind they were sort of saying, oh, this person, this woman, you know, switch up the gender as you need it, has got feelings for me. I can see it, they're in love with me. Okay, and I feel like they were in a position where they could only offer you, for whatever reason, very small amounts of practical things, not in return, you know, to show their loving side to you, but they always did it in sort of a practical way, if that makes sense. Rather than giving you the cup of love, they'd give you, I don't know, something else or do something for you, something like that. And here we have the King of Pentacles, which is, you know, an earth sign energy of your special person. And this person sort of only is not very immovable person. You know, this person takes time to move or change direction in things. And this person is always very much geared up and focused on income and the mortgage or the house, the car, the holidays, you know, all those sort of practical things in life which are very important to them. And also building their fortune, you know, is very important to them as well. And a lot of them could have been quite stable as well in where they were at the time. They have a sort of a sense of enjoyment of, you know, what they've created in life so far, irrelevant of age. It's a sort of just a general energy. So that was their energy in this connection. And then underneath we've got the rather handsome, I hope to meet this person, Knight of Cups. He's so handsome, isn't he? And I feel like they wanted to only give you that, and they weren't prepared to give you that, okay, because it wasn't the right timing for them. I almost feel like for some of you, you've come in like a shooting star into their life, really, and they just didn't even, you know, imagine that could possibly happen. I'm sort of hearing like, if some of them were players or stuff like that, they thought they were kind of beyond all women, you know, nobody could sort of change their emotions or change their feelings. And then you come in, boom, and it sort of exploded all that. So the funny thing that I'm here, so I'm just gonna, so the funny thing is that I'm not seeing anything negative about you, but I've just been, just as I said that, my spirit guides are asking me to read in from another direction. So just bear with me a second. Okay. So the negative side of you, or the things that they're not sure about. Okay, thanks to my spirit guides for pointing that out. They could have felt that you were over emotional, that you were always leaning on the side of melancholy or brooding over things, okay, situations or things like that. For some of you, they may have felt that you were a little bit clingy, all right, and that maybe you weren't giving them enough of the sort of practical sort of gestures in return, because the page of Pentacles is about messages or communication, where you're communicating to give them something tangible. And it could have been possible that you just weren't in that vibe. Maybe it could have been a case that you were always waiting for them to do stuff. Okay, and now I've heard the opposite. For some of you, they're sort of saying that you continually try to organise the next step. Okay, and they didn't like that. For some of you, there's kind of like this feeling, maybe they got this feeling that you read too much into the connection, that they maybe were aware of your spiritual or soulmate or twin flame sort of stuff, didn't quite maybe understand it for some of them, and they just didn't connect with that, maybe thought that was a bit crazy. They may have felt that you just didn't have enough stability in your life as well, that you weren't focused on the things that they thought were important. That's with the King of Pentacles. Maybe they didn't think that you were looking to the future well enough, or weren't handling your finances well enough, or weren't doing things the way that they particularly wanted to do things, and that you weren't a match in that way. And maybe they just felt that you were more like the King of Cups, which is, a meandering type of energy, which is completely different to the earth. But the really interesting thing is that water cuts through the earth, but sometimes the earth stops water. Does that make sense? So there's a sort of a sort of undercurrent of incompatibility. So, but still, I'm not seeing anything hugely negative. I'm seeing, projections, of how you run your life different to theirs and stuff like that, but nothing hugely negative. Just more of an incompatibility, and on the smallest level, should I say, just from their eyes. Was there anything negative that I can advise the watcher, please? Was there anything negative that I can advise the watcher? Gosh, they do throw in some stuff right at the last bit, don't they? I think I'm going back to you now. To him now. I think this person, did have an energy of mistrust, which they could have had an energy of third-party hookups and things like that. And within that made what you were offering sort of not their normal pattern. They were used to sort of, something more casual. And you've come in offering the cup of love or organising things and maybe even seeing the value in them. And they weren't ready for that, because that was their energy, anonymous people. And like I said, I feel like some of you kind of blew them away a little bit. And they just wanted to keep their finances close to the chest, and they wanted to keep their emotions close to the chest. And they wanted to keep things logical. They didn't want to dive into this sort of relationship type energy, right? So they weren't ready for that. So I find this really interesting. And what I wasn't going to do an extended on this, but I feel I will actually, because of these cards here. So if you want to hear more about maybe things from their perspective, why they changed towards you or why they're still changed towards you, then, join me on my extended. Okay, guys, I hope that helped you a little bit, and I hope that resonated and gave you some comfort. So that's for everyone in pile 1. And don't forget, I've got the relationship coach links at the bottom of the description. I don't have any affiliation with them. I just found them really, really helpful, okay, if you're feeling really, really stuck. So this is for everyone that's for pile 2. Just want to thank all my subscribers. Thank you so much for subscribing, and I'm really, really happy. Oh, you've got a card less. That's so funny, because I've got an extra card in the other pile. So I'm going to pull you out another card. Yeah, so thank you for all my subscribers. I'm really happy that you're enjoying this, enjoying the readings. And also for everyone that's booked a private reading, I do a lot of private readings. So they're all upside down today. Okay. So yeah, so feel free to book a private reading, £25, and a little mini £15 one, which is just like this. So it's very easy. Just go on Etsy or PayPal and just email me. Okay. All right. So let's have a look at this. So what went wrong? Why were they hot? Why were they hot and cold? Or why were they, in love with you one minute and then they disappeared the next? Or what was it? Maybe they weren't appreciating or valuing. Oh, did you see? I said I've got one card missing. Look, it's actually under there. Oh my goodness, how strange is that? That's so strange. I couldn't work out why this was so dark. And I've just realised I put it down. I know what it is now. I put my screen brightness down today, this morning. I was up really early this morning. Okay, so, but I hope it comes across in the video, okay? So, maybe they weren't appreciating or valuing. So let's have a look what's happened here. Now, weirdly, a lot of them come out upside down. So I don't really always read reversal. So let's just have a look at it. So from their point of view, why is it that, you know, you haven't fitted into their lives, or they've, you know, gone off or whatever? So let me just tune into this. Interesting. So what I'm seeing with this is that they were finding it very difficult to keep balance and to keep healthy, to be honest, to keep balance in your connection. Okay, and the reason for that, because it's headed by the Three of Swords, is that I think that they knew that they would likely break your heart, okay? And also this is particularly pointing to a third party for some of you. And they were doing online stuff as well, and they, you know, so that whole energy there. And then we've got the Three of Cups, which is reversed, which is about friendships and extended things. So I'm sort of feeling in here, from their perspective, they were used to playing the field. They were used to, you know, doing online stuff, third-party situations and stuff like that. And I think that they just found it very, very hard to keep the balance. Now, I've got two cards here. One of deep emotions for you, and one of romantic feelings for you. And I think that's why they found it really, really hard to keep the balance here. I'm so annoyed with the... I'll see if I can just, oh, here we go. Oh my goodness, why didn't I do that before? I hope that's a lot better for you. Yeah, so I think they, you know, they did develop those feelings for you, but it didn't fit into their pattern of life. And here we have you as the Nine of Pentacles in reverse. And I feel like with this one, they really, really didn't value what you were offering and what you were bringing, you know, into the connection. You know, the Nine of Pentacles is right up there. You know, this is a very self-sufficient woman, even if you don't have much money. Just the way that you handle yourself and the way that you present yourself and things like that. And, you know, she's pretty calm, you know, she's pretty much got a fantastic world around her, even if you don't feel that you have. From their perspective, you have. And it really is a sense of not valuing who you are. That's what I'm feeling with this one. So the negative things about you, let's have a look. I'm sort of getting a sense for some of you that you were always upset with them, okay, all the time. You were always trying to dig for their emotions, trying to ask them what's going on and stuff like that. I feel like maybe for some of you, they felt you were too mothering, you know, too trying to sort them out, sort the life out, you know, just sort of taking that higher moral ground and sort of looking at them as though, you know, they're sort of, you know, damaged in some way. And then I feel like a lot of you were showing a lot of jealousy as well. I'm sort of feeling a lot of jealousy, and they couldn't handle it, or they didn't feel free to sort of go off and explore other avenues. Do you know what I mean? And it's funny, this is actually dovetailed into the reading actually here. And they found it very difficult. I feel like they were so used to making their own choices, and I feel like they maybe felt you were a bit of a guard dog, you know, and guarding everything sort of thing, and checking on them and stuff like that. And yeah, I just get this sort of sense that they felt exposed. You know, they felt like they were going to be exposed. Now, you may not consciously sort of intended to give them that feeling, but I think they felt their way of life was going to be revealed and they had to do things in secret, you know. So they clearly weren't ready for the sort of commitment that we're talking about. I feel like for some of you, they might have thought that you were a bit of a snob, actually. I just have to pop that in, you know. It doesn't mean that you are, but maybe your approach to life was a little bit like that. And I just see this red heart and with the swords, and that a lot of you were very, very angry all the time with them, okay? And they weren't interested in having that sort of dynamic in the connection. So what I'm going to do on the extended is maybe look into this a little bit more and see sort of how this played out, you know, how's it playing out now, you know? So this is definitely what went wrong, but how's it playing out now? Do they still have the same sort of feelings towards you, the negative side of that, you know? I also have to mention with this Nine of Pentacles reversed is that I feel like some of them, for some of you, they didn't feel you needed them. Okay, that you were too self-reliant in many ways, which is weird because, you know, you're hurt, you're upset, you're jealous. But at the same time, I feel like they felt that you would leave at any point as well, which is really quite interesting. So that's everyone for pile 2. Thank you so much. So do join me in the extended if you want to hear a little bit more about that side of things. And do have a look at my 4 relationship coach links in the description. I don't have any affiliation with them at all. I just found them online, used them myself and found them really, really useful. Okay, and this is for everyone that picked pile 3. So the question is, you know, what went wrong? You know, why were they in love one minute and maybe ghosted you the next, or were hot and cold? So you've got an extra card here. It's funny, most of these cards, this is potentially a very nice reading. You know, there's a lot here. And, you know, maybe they didn't value you. So let's have a look and see what was going on. So what went wrong from their perspective? Okay. So I feel like they felt this connection was very mystical. We've got that twice here. And they certainly did have a lot of fond memories. Well, they have a lot of fond memories, okay. But I feel like they were a peacock and potentially get messages from other women, okay. Or for some of you, they felt your messages to them were just too heavy, all right? Just too heavy, too romantic. It didn't suit them. For some of them, they were thinking about an ex-partner, and they had very deep nostalgic feelings for an ex-partner, which they may not have told you about. Someone that's maybe been in their life for some time with this fairy circle, over a year or something like that. And they didn't want to look at your situation. If it was complicated, they just didn't want to look at it. So let's have a look from their perspective about the negatives about you. I feel like they felt you were over romantic, over sentimental, and maybe trying to push the relationship further than at the stage it actually was. I feel like they maybe felt that you idolized them a little bit and made it very obvious. I sort of see maybe you, if were in close proximity, you know, you overpraised them. So they didn't sort of value, you know, they weren't chasing you anymore, you know, because it was clear, you made it very clear how you felt about them. As I already said, some of you over-romanticized. They felt that you were over-romanticizing and just writing too much romantic stuff that they weren't ready for. I feel like they were having a nice time with you, but they just weren't ready for that. And this is quite a funny one, actually. I feel like for some of you, they felt like you just wouldn't address some stuff. I can't think what that is. You just wouldn't look at some stuff, you know, and you know, in one case they're sort of saying, oh, you're over romantic. In the next minute they wanted more from you. Does that make sense? You know, like you were protecting yourself too much. Some of you were just too secretive. So there was kind of like this imbalance where they felt they couldn't get close. But I feel like, but at the same time, they sort of didn't value your love. You know, I feel like they wanted both sides of the fence. You know, they wanted you to be crazy in love with them, but not value you, but they didn't like it if you pulled back. So that's what I'm seeing. So, and also we've got this Knight of Swords energy, and I just feel like they felt that you were reckless. For some of you, I feel like they felt that you were quite reckless in your life, made rash decisions and bad decisions. I feel like for some of you, they felt like you were very attractive, but I feel like they felt threatened by that. And while they sort of admired the clothes that you wore and stuff like that, they felt it was too much going to attract the opposite sex. And I'm not sure that they liked that. They didn't like that dynamic about you. I sort of get a feeling with some of you that you travelled a lot, okay? Or you had the ability to travel, or you come from a different country or something like that, and they always sort of felt that you would go back to that country, and that whether it was actually worth having any stability with you. Okay. Anything else that you want to tell us about things that they found negative, or why they, you know, you weren't fitting into their life at that particular point? Interesting. I feel like this, possibly, this is the Five of Swords, isn't it? Yeah, I feel like you two were being quite competitive with each other in a way that you were kind of trying to outsmart each other. If you do this, I'll do this sort of thing. And I feel like it was that sort of energy, and you were trying to win one over on each other, which was very draining. And I feel like your special person was also doing that to you. So I feel there was a lot of mind games, a lot of playing going on, you know, not so much authenticity. And I feel like that's just two people just trying to keep their head above water in this connection. And it didn't feel good for you, and it didn't feel good for them. And I feel like you were just trying to outsmart each other all the time, you know, and holding back your emotions here, and then maybe holding back their emotions. But really, you had really deep emotions for each other, and then they would spill out, and then it would be quite intense. And then neither of you really knew whether, you know, you wanted things to go that far so soon, or they weren't sure, or, you know, you felt like once it sort of started rolled into that, you know, questioned where it was going and that sort of thing. So I actually wasn't going to do extended on these readings, but they're actually really, really interesting. So if you want to join me on the extended, what I'm going to do is see that this is what was wrong at the time, what's wrong now. You know, is it more magnified now? You know, this is why, maybe the reason why, you know, it's not working. All right, so do join me on the extended, and it's been an absolute pleasure. And if you're not joining me, pop on to the 4 links that I've got for relationship coaches. I have no affiliation with them. I've just found them and I've used them myself, and they're very, very helpful. So thank you so much, and take care, and ciao from Italy. Ciao, ciao.